What's your answer?
He's got to show leadership.
It's out of control.
That's just the speed.
Today, Australia's Mufti says our Muslim clerics talked 1,500 followers after fighting for jihadists. That's actually a warning. I'm Andrew Bolt, and this is the Bolt Report. We deserve an honest debate. This week, the Mufti of Australia, our top Islamic cleric, said we should give credit to our Muslim leaders. If it wasn't for their work, we wouldn't have just 150 Australians backing jihadist groups. Out Christian towns in Iraq.
If it wasn't for our effort, there could have been 1,500, not 150.
Thanks, Mufti, but I'm not so reassured. You're saying if Muslim leaders hadn't helped them back down, we'd actually have 1,500 Australians fighting for Islamic State-type terrorists? Indeed, we saw some wannabe jihadists in an SBS studio just this week, including one Australian showing off his Islamic State flag and warning us to behave.
You know, in order for me to be connected to the values here of Australia, the Australian government needs to stop picking on the Muslims here. If they're going to leave their troops in Iraq, for example, or if they're going to leave in Palestine, or if they're going to leave Israel or in Afghanistan, if they're going to not do anything about this, what's happening to the Muslims, then something's going to happen here.
Another Australian said he was in Turkey helping the jihadists.
I'm most vocally supportive of the Islamic State. I believe that they are the future of Syria, and I believe that they're the future of the Islamic empire to come.
One father warned about his son.
My wife doesn't want to go to Syria. I don't want to go there and kill someone innocent people, and he's going to die himself as well.
And of course, we have Sydney disability pensioner Khalid Sharoof already serving with the Islamic State and proudly posting a picture of his 7-year-old son holding the head of a Syrian soldier. Again, can we have an honest debate and not this kind of deception?
First of all, I think every Australian was shocked to their core at that dreadful image of the former Australian citizen Khalid Sharoof and his son.
No, Mr. Shorten, not every Australian was shocked. Sharoof's brother in Sydney, for instance, said we should forget about the picture. He was sure we'd seen worse. The owner of a radical Islamic bookshop in Sydney also played down the picture.
With all the fighting against Muslims in the past 10 years or so, we've sort of become immune to these sort of photos, being that we always see Sunni Muslims in the same sort of predicament. For example, we see Muslim kids and Muslim women and men that are being tortured.
In fact, the head of ASIO says extremists use social media to show these barbaric pictures in Australia, knowing they will actually inspire radicals here. Now remember, very many Muslims are just as horrified by this savagery, and some Muslim leaders are finally attacking the jihadists.
My message to Sharoof, mate, don't pretend you are Muslim. All your actions are non-Islamic. Don't pretend you are a good father. You are a despicable person.
But if only this danger had been confronted earlier. If only some people in influential positions didn't still seem determined to play down this problem.
Islam is a religion of peace. It absolutely is. Is this a huge Australian problem we're talking about? I think the numbers quoted were 150 people fighting overseas. Let's not over-exaggerate this.
Just 150? Well, just 30 Australians went to fight for the Taliban in Afghanistan a decade ago, and look what happened when they came back.
Of those 30, 25 returned to Australia. Of those 25, 19 were involved in preparing and planning mass casualty terrorist attacks within Australia, and of those 19, 8 were actually prosecuted and convicted.
And does Islam, which divides the world into the Dar al-Islam and the Dar al-Harb, the House of Islam and the House of War, truly mean peace? We have a problem and need an honest debate. What in Islam helps extremists to justify so much terrorism? Can Islam be made compatible with our multi-faith community? These are tough questions. They risk marginalising the many peace-loving Muslim Australians. But the time is past for sweet lies. Coming up, Liberal members are growing unhappy with the Abbott government. Liberal Senator Cory Bernardi is next.